Do you know why they call him Bristleback? It's because he's got bristles on his back.
They call me Bristleback because I got bristles on me back.
Simple, right? Yet you wouldn't believe the amount of people who ignore what this name implies. You ever seen a porcupine in real life? Hedgehog? What makes these types of animals good at staying alive? Anyways, Bristleback, the funny, drunk, British porcupine man with a cold. Technically, he's more of a boar, but whatever. We all love...
No.
Okay, well, most of us...
No.
Okay, well, a select few of players love him, me included. But achieving these epic spell lifesteal clips doesn't come easy. There are so many different factors that all need to align for this to even be possible. Not to mention the consistency and viability of this build is very questionable. But fear not, follow this guide and I'm sure your match history will look mostly green. See, when playing Bristleback, I could go the safe route. I could buy auras that help the team and items that give me genuine sustain beyond haha funny quill spray. But is that fun?
No.
You want to buy auras? You want to be a useful offlaner? Go play Underlord and eat some plain white bread while you're at it. We're not playing Mr. Aura's win me games. We're playing Mr. Fart in your face and stab you in the neck if you fight back. Alright, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves a bit, so let's start with the basics first. And first, when should you actually do this?
God motherfucking damn!
Well, that's the easy part. Is the enemy mid laner mostly magic damage? Is there a distinct lack of purple men with sticks on the enemy team? Well, if either of those are the case, feel free to lock in Bristleback first pick. But before we jump into the build, we gotta talk about Bristleback. No, not the hero, the passive ability. You take less damage from the back, and if you take 200 damage after resistances, you shoot your quills. But here's where the nuance comes in. Meet Pugna. Now, Pugna has this skill called the Nether Blast, as demonstrated here. See that animation? You'd think to get your passive to work you'd face away from the center of the blast, right? Well, no, you'd be wrong. You face away from Pugna. When dealing with your passive, you always face away from the unit source. This is very important for dealing with spells like Death Ward. Since Death Ward is its own unit, make sure to face away from it instead of Witch Doctor. Funnily enough, this doesn't work with Techie's Sticky Bomb. Even though it has its own health bar, it stops counting as its own unit once it is attached to you. So just face away from Techies at all times. This, however, does not apply to his Proximity Mines, which are their own unit. If at any point in the match you are surrounded by 4 or 5 enemies, it's always best to face away from the biggest source of damage. That way it will probably proc your passive more and you'll probably might survive because of the spell Lifesteal. Most times it does not, unfortunately.
Clearly.
Also keep in mind that if someone puts a damage over time on you, then dies, face away from where they died to reduce damage. This tip has saved me numerous times against those pesky Venomancer pickers. Also, this chart is pretty useful. Save it, study it, go nuts. Starting items. Ring of Protection. Always, always, always. Armor is more efficient in small amounts. Plus, it builds into soul. A Tango and a Mango for regen, which is, you know, essential, kind of. A Quelling Blade for CS and a Gauntlet for stats. Your early game build looks a little something like this, and into the laning phase we go. Going into lane, more often than not, your lane is going to be almost impossible. Medusa, have fun. Drow Ranger, yeah, good luck. The keyword is almost. Let's take a closer look at your quills, as they'll likely be your CSing tool in poor matchups. Unlike Ursa Fury Swipes, Bristleback's quills don't apply stack damage on the first instance, so you're gonna want to quill a creep wave once, maybe twice, just to reset the stack duration if needed. At level 1, a creep with 1 quill stack on it will take 53 damage before resistances, which isn't great for last hit damage, but it's better than nothing. Not to mention, you can likely get these last hits because quills don't have a cast point and are very, very fast. Now, one problem with this strategy that you might be noticing is the usage of mana on a low mana hero. The fix for that is a magic wand and a soul ring. These two items should give you enough mana to get through even the toughest of lanes, and if they don't, that sounds like an ish you and not an ish me. Make sure to pick up a Ring of Health and Phase Boots in any order you see fit. Your main goal in this lane is to get the tier 1 tower down at best, and at worst, just survive. To get the tier 1 tower down, it's best done with timing your ultimate when a siege creep is chugging its way down the lane. Once that tower goes down, you begin the... So, once you've got your ring and boots, you're gonna want to save up for Behold the Shroud of Shrouds. This thing saves more porcupines than the AWF. Gone are the days of Pipe of In-Sleep and Hood of Defy Yawns. This ain't your Peepaw's magic barrier. This turns magic damage into mana. Mana, the one resource that's hardest to maintain for low IQ offlaners like Bristle. But here it is, offered to you in such a way that it fits seamlessly into your playstyle. You want mana? Run at the enemy support. And the amount is nothing to scoff at either. This ain't your measly 150 you get from Soul Ring. This thing has the potential to give you a whopping 350 mana. I'd say 400, but the item costs 50 mana to use by itself. So, the Eternal Shroud gives you magic resist, health regen, and an active barrier that converts magic damage into mana. What else could this debatably balanced item offer your prickly puncher? How about more sustain? Imagine if you whill lifesteal, but you get it from the damage that your spells do. Such a novel idea, right? Such a balanced concept for Bristleback. But yeah, buy this first item after your Phase Boots. So once the enemy tier 1 tower is dead, your job in the game now is to be on the opposite side of the map from your carry. Are they farming ancients? Go push out the safe one. Are they playing a PvE farm game in the jungle? Try to threaten the enemy's tier 2.
I'm killing you.
You want to make as much space as possible while trying to avoid dying. Intuition will usually tell you if you're about to get ganked, and if you do go down, you'll usually take someone with you. Unless the enemy mid laner is really fed, it usually takes 2 to 5 people to kill you. Those spent TPs means the enemy team is stuck on your side of the map, unless they want to waste a lot of time walking somewhere else. The best thing you can do is cut the wave in front of the tier 3 tower, because if you die, the enemy isn't near your team, and they're not near any objectives either. It's a huge time waster. Anyways, you're going to be here for a while after all, so you're saving up for your next core item. Oh? You're wondering what your second core item is? Well, I can imagine that most of you already know what it is. In fact, I don't even need to say the name of the item for you to know what it is. Even normal Bristleback builds get this item as a core. But yes, you do buy it. It's great for Roche, it's great for being annoying, it's great for amping your quill damage, which in turn amps how much lifesteal you get from them. But once you have it, it's time to be a team player. You got your AoE Q, you're running into a fight, and... Oh, right. Break.
Balance! I'm gonna have a seizure!
Let's talk about break for a moment. Many a time have I told people that this mechanic needs a nerf. Most of the time, you just gotta deal with the fact that you're gonna melt if you're broken. But there are still ways to get around it. This right here is the chart of every source of break in the game. These ones are dispellable by a basic dispel, these ones are dispellable by a strong dispel, and these ones are removable by BKB. Got it? Good. Build Lotus and or BKB when needed. But here's the catch. What if the break isn't dispellable? Well, your best bet is to build the 3 S's: status resistance, strength, and steel. If items offer 2 or more of these, it's probably worth a pickup against break. Heaven's Halberd is probably the best thing you can pick up to counter an undispellable break. It's like this thing was made to deal with Silver Edge. 400 HP, and a way to evade attacks with status resistance slapped on for good measure, and an active to stop the guy with the Silver Edge hitting you. Just don't get stunned and you should be able to run away just fine. After your third item, go nuts. Build like you're playing Leshrac and you'll do alright. Aghanim Shard? Sure, why not? Bloodstone? Be my guest. Octarine Core? Whatever floats your boat. BKB might be needed, especially if they have silences. Stuns really only matter if you're facing the wrong way. So don't face the wrong way. You like newts? Hey, so do I. Very useful part of your playstyle. So what kind of newts are you looking for in this build? Well, there's too many to name, to be honest, but I'll give you 2 neutrals to look out for in each tier. In tier 1, we got Chipped Vest and Broom Handle. Chipped Vest is great sustain and a good source of damage when fighting the enemy carry. Just keep in mind that it only works on auto attacks and not spells. Broom Handle offers armor and attack damage and range. While those latter 2 aren't too useful, but they are useful, the 4 armor definitely helps early since you won't be buying a Vanguard. Down in tier 2, we got Essence Ring and Vambrace. Essence Ring is a backward soul ring that gives mana regen. Safe to say, it can keep you going, so get it. Vambrace is for saving mana, like the old tread switching days of 2018. Treads aren't the best buy on Bristleback nowadays, but with Vambrace you can attribute switch to your heart's content. But good luck trying to get your 1 and 2 to give it to you, because they probably won't. Tier 3, we got Titan Sliver and Behold the Sword of Swords. Pally Sword. This sword is your best pal. Spell, Lifesteal, and Healing Amp overclock your build, and if you can manage to snag this from your other cores, you're probably unkillable. Titan Sliver is just good against break and magic damage. All that really needs to be said on the matter. The top 2 in tier 4 are Ascetics Cap and Timeless Relic. Timeless Relic is going to get insta-taken by your mid or supports, but if you can get your hands on it, your quills will do some massive damage. It's honestly disgusting what this neutral item does to your damage output. Ascetics Cap is epic because of its passive, the health and the regen, and simple as. Tier 5 is where stuff gets loony. Pretty much every tier 5 item is good on you except Pirate Hat, Seer Stone, and Book of Shadows. Other than that, take what you can get. Oh, talents? There's your talents. Good luck out there. Oh, ability build? I figured that'd be obvious, but here you go. Now go nuts.